man, I'm just saying, no matter whether I broke into an apartment, whether I fell off of a balcony, arguing with my girlfriend, whatever I did to get that injured, I don't know that going to the coach and saying, well, coach, you're not going to believe how I got hurt over the weekend, but there was a 7-year-old boy drowning in a pool, and I was all the way up on the second floor, and I said, coach, I got to save that young man. So I jumped all the way into the pool, saved that man, and broke or injured both of my ankles at the same time. I'm just saying, may have picked a less vettable story, a less low-key story. I mean, you can laugh at Nate Burleson all you want, but at least he said, I reached over for some pizza and broke my arm. He didn't say, I broke into a burning building on my way to pick up some pizza and broke my arm. So, next time, hey, lesson learned. But I knew there was going to be more to that story to come out, and sure enough, bam, as soon as we went off the air, details started following out, and USC has now suspended Shaw indefinitely for lying to the university about what he did. I just had to come back to that after we dropped it yesterday. I didn't want to not follow up with the obvious back end of that story. All right, guys, looking at tonight, we already set the stage earlier for the Indians and talking to Mike Brandenberry and doing all of that. Carlos Carrasco, can he continue his rebirth, rejuvenation here as a starter? He gets another chance to keep that momentum going. John Danks is on the other side. He's been very giving to the Indians when he faces them. I know earlier in his career he was tough on them, but lately not the case. They've got to win tonight. Plain and simple. You have got to go into Kansas City having won 3 series in a row now. You've got to head into Kansas City winning 6 of 9, 7 of 10, whatever the run would be there heading into that game. You have to get hot and stay there. This is the key. What's the point of saying it anymore? But keep in mind that we don't have to talk when you're dealing with a team O destiny. And the Indians are that team O destiny. So tonight, Carrasco and Danks. Tomorrow, it gets serious in Kansas City. Salazar, Bauer, and House set to go this weekend for the Indians on the holiday weekend before they come home for the Big Four with Detroit. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll see how this ends tonight. You cannot, plain and simple, you cannot lose tonight. All joking, all destiny, all of that having fun aside, you have to win this. You have to win this game tonight. Indians, White Sox, 8-10. Chicago and Cleveland doing the thing tonight, as while the Indians and the White Sox are battling in Chicago, in Cleveland, the Browns and the Bears will be doing battle in the final preseason game for both teams. 8 p.m. kickoff here for the Cleveland Browns. It looks like the starters are going to play at least the first quarter. A couple of series is what Mike Pettin is saying. Nate Burleson is expected to go today. He really has to. In my opinion, if he doesn't go out here and show some it doesn't even have to be big. If he did not play tonight, there's not a spot on this team, no matter how thin the roster is. You got to know that at least he can go out there injured, taped up, whatever. When we need you to play, you can still go out there and play. I expect to see him get out there a little bit. And we, you talk about continuity. Yeah, that's a veteran guy, but who knows what he's got left in the tank, and he's got to get synced up with the offense. So hopefully that is true, what Mike Pettin says, and that Burleson is going to play. He is injured. Keep that in mind. He's been injured the whole preseason. He has a hamstring pull, but he's going to attempt to play through it tonight. So we'll see what he does here when he gets out there. First chance to get a look at him. We'll see more about Taylor Gabriel as he looks to lock up. I don't think he needs to do anything more, but you can never not do enough to lock up a spot. So I think he's looking on sealing his spot there. Andrew Hawkins has done well. I want to see 1 or 2 good series before Hoyer comes out. Not so much worried about what the score is at that point, although I'd love to see some touchdowns, but just got to be continuity. You just got to see this offense get to moving here before you move on. And that will really upset me if they go out here and have a rough drive or 2 and then move on and bring in the second team. I think the plan should be 2 series if things go well. If not, I'm sending you guys back out there. You're at least going to give me a good feeling before I pull you guys back. And if that means that you end up playing the whole first half, then you end up playing the whole first half. I would not go into this game, if I'm Mike Pettin, with a deadline on when I'm pulling my guys out. When I feel it's right, when things are moving, then okay. But if things are bogged up, we see it every year. Browns come in, they need to work in preseason game 4. They trot the guys out there for 3-4 plays, and then Brandon Whedon's on the bench. And you're going, really? We're ready for the season? As we've said many times, you don't have Tom Brady. You don't have Peyton Manning. You aren't the Seattle Seahawks or the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, you don't want to risk guys for stupid reasons. I don't want starters on the field when other guys' third and fourth string are out there, because that's how guys get hurt, by guys looking to make a reputation or earn a spot on a team based on being the guy who hit Johnny Manziel or who wiped out, the running back or whatever it is. But, you don't want to do that either. There does come a point where it becomes dangerous, but that is not the point in the first quarter. You're not at the danger zone there. If a guy's going to get hurt, he's going to get hurt, and he could get hurt walking from the bus to the game. He could get hurt in practice. I mean, you have to take that out of your mind. You've got to go see what these guys can do. And then in the second half, I think you got to see, as much as people are saying, hey, we're going to see some Rex Grossman, I want to see more Connor Shaw. I want to see if he is continuing to show more. I mean, it's hard enough to tell he's up against the lower parts of a roster, and he's playing with the dregs of the Browns roster. So you don't know if he's just a preseason shine and he doesn't really have it. But I'd like to see more about Connor Shaw than I would with Rex Grossman. I definitely would there. If I'm erring on one or the other, I'm giving more time to Connor Shaw. If Rex doesn't get in, Rex doesn't get in. And I think if Rex doesn't get in, it gives a good sign that he's not going to make this roster. I don't think the Browns, I'll be honest with you, I don't think they can afford to go with 3 quarterbacks. My gut says they go with 2. And with Rex Grossman, man, he's still going to be there. If you don't put him on your roster, do you really think somebody else is in line to sign him up? And maybe they are. Maybe there's a team that's interested, but they weren't interested for the last 6 months. So I think you've gotten yourself familiar enough with Rex Grossman that if you worry that in a couple of weeks you may need a third quarterback, he's still going to be at the house. He's still going to be familiar with the system. You could bring him in and get him up to speed. I don't see them going with 3 quarterbacks. I think that they go with Connor Shaw on the practice squad, and Rex Grossman doesn't have a spot on this roster. There's just too many needs in too many other positions to have it for Rex Grossman there. I mean, I could be wrong. But if I was worried that if this was something that I was worried about somebody else grabbing and I'm going to need it and I'm going to kick myself, but that's not the case with Rex Grossman. So another thing I'm looking to see, Justin Gilbert tonight and the defensive backs as well. I don't know if, I don't think Joe Hayden's playing. I believe the plan is for Joe Hayden not to play until the opener here, but I could be wrong because that was like a definite plan coming out of the game, and then there was some hedging in Mike Pettine's word. So Joe Hayden may see a series or 2. I don't know, but I think they're holding him out for the opener here. Justin Gilbert, they got at him last week. I want to see what he learned. I want to see if he comes back, if he presses more, if he's more aggressive against the guys. Going to be interesting to see that bounce back as well. There's still guys playing for jobs and playing for positions here tonight as they're out there. I mean, looking to seal up these last couple of spots on the roster with the running backs. It looks like, we talked about it, Dion Lewis seems to have the seal up on that third running back position, but no guarantees on that either. Couple of shakedowns on the way the offensive line breaks down still, and man, I'm telling you, I am not at all confident going into this season with Mitchell Schwartz over there on the right side of the line. It is the one side of the line that I'm going, man, I wish we could address here, man. I mean, obviously, he's the best of what they have. I mean, there's so many options. I'm telling you, if you go into this season, I know that you don't monkey around with your offensive line as much as possible. But if the first couple of games, if Mitchell Schwartz is getting pushed back into the quarterback, if he's blowing blocks, if he's continuing to be the weak spot, I mean, there is some flexibility on this offensive line for them to move some guys around. I was a bit surprised that they didn't, and maybe Pinkston going down, maybe some of that stuff changed it. I was a bit surprised that they didn't look at Bitonio, because he can play some tackle too, and you got Reed Fragel who's in there in the mix. I thought maybe he would get a bit more of a look in there, but they probably, and probably rightfully so, they believe that Schwartz is the best of what they have over there. But man, I'm not at all confident with him locking up that right tackle position. So we're looking at all of that, looking to see whatever you can out of the starters for the bit of time. The defense, let's go there. I don't care if Chicago is only going to play one series. Fine, you got one series to go out there and redeem yourself. Show that you are not as bad as you looked last week on defense. Defense, you don't have nothing to do with Brian Hoyer. Johnny Manziel doesn't play on your side of the ball. It doesn't matter about no bad wide receivers either. Go be the defense you say you are, because you sure as hell weren't last week. And really, there's been some things to worry about all preseason, and it is the preseason, so go show us that. Go out there and play the Chicago defense, whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, or the Chicago offense, because that's going to be something big, too, that I'm looking to see. I get it. It's vanilla. Everybody doesn't want to get hurt. Yeah. All the preseason, all the excuses. I got it. Still, go out here, show the home crowd, show the people listening and watching at home, and show the rest of the NFL that it's not as bad as it may have appeared. And the defense, that you heard it. Whether you look at the fantasy football guy, we're talking to BJ Rudell. Everything about the Browns comes back to, well, it's going to depend on the defense. Anybody you talk to around talking, covering football, when they talk about the Browns, it doesn't start with the quarterbacks. It starts with they're going to go as far as the defense. So while everybody loves to talk about quarterbacks because it's the premier spot and it's the star position, the Browns are going to go only as far as the defense takes them this season. That's it. I mean, I think we all know that. So go out there. You don't got to go out there and get 3 interceptions in the first, 3 offensive series. I'm not asking for that. Get off the field on third down. Stop. Do not let a quarterback sit back there and just pick you guys apart, especially quarterbacks who are fighting for their own roster spot. I mean, you cannot have a third-string quarterback, again, out there carving up your first-string defense. That's just absolutely unacceptable. So fix those things. I'm not telling you to go out here and show me that you're the 85 Bears. Just go out there and show me that you're a slight version of what you're supposed to be. I mean, really, those are kind of the main things. Obviously, a few other little position battles here. Which wide receivers shake out into which positions? Do we see anything at all out of Burleson here tonight? Those are the things that I'm watching for. We'll talk about it tomorrow, and then that's it. Finally, the rest of the games that they play, at least they count towards the standings, and they're at least real. We don't have to preface everything with, well, it's preseason, because it's no longer preseason after tonight. So we've got a doubleheader with the Browns and the Bears and the Indians and the White Sox tonight. Come back tomorrow, guys. Whichever you watch, maybe you watch them both. Come on back. Truckload of college football, too. Let's do it. Let's talk about it tomorrow live. Same bad time, same bad channel, noon, right here on the Sports Fix. We love you, Cleveland. Go Tribe. Go Browns. We'll see you tomorrow.
Out here in Cleveland.